Well, Deb Murphy filed this story for Sierra Wave Media earlier this week. Now, this was before United States Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced today about rescinding an Obama-era federal policy that provided legal shelter for marijuana sales in states that have allowed recreational pot, placing thousands of marijuana businesses in California and other states operating under operating legally under state law, but at risk of federal raids and seizures. Now, Deb Murphy reports that Inyo County's Board of Supervisors last week incorporated one Inyo County Planning Commission recommendation into the county's cannabis ordinance, keeping with the timeline to get the regulations on the books by early February. Now, that change would allow non-volatile manufacturing in conjunction with cultivation operations. Public comment at both the supervisors meeting last week and last month's commission session brought to light that some activities identified as non-volatile manufacturing were benign and closely tied to bringing the product to market. Now, Inyo County Supervisor Rick Pucci reflected the board's attitude toward delaying passage of the ordinance. Pucci said, "We can't put this off for a perfect solution. There won't ever be a perfect solution. We have to move forward." Also, Planning Chair Frank Stewart explained that the commission's recommendations, which included allowing commercial cultivation of up to 6 plants, the same as allowed for personal use in residential zones, was a simpler administrative permit rather than the conditional use permit process, and staying with conventional setbacks and noticing requirements. Now, the majority of public comment was highly critical of the recommendations. The anti-commenters included 3 commission members, one of whom didn't attend the December 20th meeting. One voted against the motion, one voted for the recommendations, but changed her mind. 2 commenters thanked the commission for coming up with creative solutions and encouraged the board to take another look at those solutions in the future. So, after more than a year of discussions, consultants, public comments, workshops, and more workshops, the cannabis ordinance should be on the books in early February. Deb Murphy's full story is posted on sierrawave.net. And again, that was written before today's announcement by Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Well, back on Tuesday, January 2nd, the Mammoth Lakes Police Department responded to a vehicle versus pedestrian traffic collision. Press release notes a 46-year-old male West Hills resident was struck by a vehicle at approximately 4 p.m. in the 3300 block of Main Street. The pedestrian was conscious at the scene and transported to Mammoth Hospital by Mono County paramedics. Now, the driver of the vehicle, a 54-year-old female resident of Mammoth Lakes, stopped immediately after the collision, and from initial witness statements and evidence at the scene, it appears that the driver failed to yield the right-of-way to a pedestrian crossing the roadway within the marked crosswalk. Press release from the Mammoth Lakes Police Department said it would like to remind drivers to be alert and cautious of pedestrians and to follow the direction of crosswalk traffic signals. Pat O'Neill has been appointed acting Bishop Fire Chief. Now, in a joint statement issued by Bishop City Administrator Jim Tatum and Rural Fire Commissioner Chairman Mike Holland, they said, "We are pleased to announce that Pat O'Neill has accepted the appointment as acting fire chief to lead our great fire department, pending the completion of the recruitment of a permanent chief." Pat O'Neill is a longtime resident of Bishop, currently serving as assistant chief with over 30 years of experience in fire service. His appointment has been effective immediately as of this week. Now, this action follows upon the December 29th retirement of Bishop Fire Chief Ray Seguin, who had been the chief since 1999. Press release from the City of Bishop says the recruitment process is ongoing under the direction of Ralph Anderson and Associates, and some 20 responses were received to the initial solicitation. We'll be back with a weather report.